Hey everyone, it's Nick Campbell. You'll notice that I'm wearing a tie because we're talking about a prestige drama today, and that is True Detective.
Warning! This video contains spoilers for the episode The Night Finds You. If you have not watched this episode, beware.
Yeah, that's...
Also, why are you watching a review of an episode you haven't seen yet? Don't you feel there's more value in context? Please watch the episode and come back here. You'll have a better time.
That's probably good.
Also, subscribe.
I can't disagree with any of that. So today we're going to talk about True Detective, The Night Finds You, second episode of the second season. So while True Detective has never really been like a fast-paced series, True Detective Season 2 plods along so slow it makes Mad Men seem like a Fast and Furious sequel. The takes are long, the scenes are agonizing, and the plot is overly convoluted. Land deals and vast levels of criminal bureaucracy have always been one-way tickets to Snoozeville for me. Mostly because it takes such a long time to exposit all the moving parts, which is always just a rogues gallery of no-good-Nick archetypes. The corrupt businessman, club owner / pimp, and the bad judge. Not that one. This one. Mix in the True Detective levels of loneliness and despair, and you're constantly questioning what you're doing with your life. Why are you spending an hour watching people have unnatural reactions to things? At a certain point, you get bored with the investigation, so much so that you start thinking, should I be watching Seinfeld episodes instead? The advertisements Hulu would tattoo on my eyelids if they could tell me yes. Between the time-consuming pauses and the questionably paced twists and turns, there's something vaguely happening. And all these events start happening with the murder of the city manager that was in charge of some of the land deals that would be in charge of the highest speed. I can get through this.
He was not aggressive, more passive.
Sex. Throughout a lot of this so far, sex has seemed like a red herring. It's just been like a distraction. That the city manager is into this affectation that the weird killer that wears a bird on his head is taking advantage of in order to kidnap the city manager and kill him for, I don't know, land stuff. At first you would think there is not nearly as much sex in this season as there was in the last season, which was one of the most gifable moments from last summer. But there's a lot of sex happening even if it's not on screen. Amy seems to have a lot of preconceptions about sex and about sex life and sex work. She busts that webcam ring, the legal webcam ring, and chastises her sister for being a sex worker, but then also in her spare time looks at sex with a very judgy score. Paul, who seems to be disinterested in his girlfriend taking care of him in the first episode, eyes some male sex workers from his hotel balcony. And of course there are Casper's multiple sex pads. So all of this has to figure in eventually. But with this story starting off with a rape, and the season constantly painting making Whoopi as some dark little secret that everyone has. However, the sex thing comes into play will probably be about as sex positive as that health class scene from Mean Girls.
Don't have sex, because you will get pregnant and die.
Most importantly, something actually happened at the end of this episode, which actually created some movement. Sad Sack Ray got the ending that the episode spent a lot of time telegraphing. They tied up all those loose ends, you know where the kid's gonna go, you know that the wife doesn't like him very much. He told that server that...
I think the only way I get a vacation is if I croak.
And then the show let him have it in the chest. Twice. With a shotgun. And there's no fire priestess riding in on a horse in order to give any of those Ray fans some hope. So unless they fit Ray with a cyborg torso, or that gun was one of those playful military-grade potato guns, I'm struggling to see why they bothered with Ray in the first place. They gave him a really complicated backstory. They associated him with all the characters. But what's the point? Why is Colin Farrell playing this role of a guy that got killed in the second episode? Couldn't a redshirt henchman have done his job? It makes me hopeful and curious that something bigger is going to happen in the long run. Maybe it was just really important for Ray to occasionally slip into an Irish accent. I don't know, maybe there's more than meets the eye. And by that I mean he might be a transformer. That jolt was somewhat satisfying. But this overly serious, overly complicated, long-winded season feels like it's still trying to reject me. I feel like I'm only watching True Detective because it is True Detective. And I'm going to keep watching the show and keep wasting my time even if the show never gets good. Because it's True Detective, and it's one of those prestige dramas. So, I'm stuck here. Just hoping for a happy ending for Riggins. Not like that. Although maybe like that, I guess that's where the season is going. Anyway, thanks for watching. Oh wait, I've got a couple more things. I'm really glad they brought in that moody Vonda Shepard-like role for the bar for every episode. I really like the music, and I always thought that last season needed more Ally McBeal references. And now it's time for a pet peeve of mine, Los Angeles geography. If you are going to make a show that is based in Los Angeles, use the actual geography. I understand when other cities use Los Angeles as their backdrop because it's cheaper to shoot here than it is in like Washington, D.C. For instance, I've seen Hook from Scandal try to kill people just outside the same place I get my Pirates booty. If the setting and tone of Los Angeles are important to the show, don't have them walk out of the LA Times building and try to tell me that that's where an oil derrick is. That's just... There are plenty of buildings around here that have oil derricks in them that you can have them pretend to walk out of. Yeah, I know. Money, costs, whatever. You can get the permits. What I'm saying is movie magic's overrated. So for those of you that might not have understood what I meant by Paul being taken care of by his girlfriend, here's a brief explanation for you. So first, what I mean is that she... and penis. And that's really it. Thanks for watching.